All right, and welcome to another episode of Perspective in Pokemon, where sometimes we talk perspective, sometimes we talk Pokemon, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. And I have with me today Eeveegirl98, aka Jess, or rather Jess, aka Eeveegirl98.
Right. Either
And
way.
either way,
Hello.
but yeah, I've actually came across Jess through Instagram. It's kind of funny because I remember coming across you on Instagram. I don't even remember. I think it was like 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had just started then, but I remember I want to say I was probably one of your first 100 followers.
Yeah, I think so. And I hadn't just started collecting then, but I had just started doing things on Instagram then. So it was
Yeah.
and I didn't think it would turn into anything, but it is. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I've actually been very pleasantly surprised with how rapidly you've been growing Instagram.
Right.
But if you can go ahead and give maybe just a brief introduction about who you are, kind of what you're up to.
Okay, so I am, let's see, how old am I? I'm 31 years old. So I've actually been enjoying Pokemon for over 20 years, which makes me feel super old. I have 2 kids who also love Pokemon. My son is about to turn 5, and he just got some birthday money in the mail today, and that was the first thing he wanted to do was go to the card shop and buy cards. So it's very much a family thing for us too. My husband is very much into Pokemon and Dragon Ball and a lot of things. So it's really nice that it's something we can all enjoy together as a family. We just started seriously collecting again maybe a year ago. We had picked up cards here and there for a while, but not anything consistent. And then a lot of it was, I think, probably COVID. We had a lot more free time and a lot of time to play on the internet and research things and buy things. So, yeah, probably the last couple of years we just started getting into like grading cards too. And so we've got our Dragon Ball portion and our Pokemon portion, but yeah, it's really this last year we've gotten way more into it than we had been for a while. I did collect as a kid for a long time, and then like got into middle school, high school, and just kind of grew out of it, I think, for a little while. And back then people still didn't know what Pokemon was going to turn into. So I think it was just one of those things where I thought I outgrew it. I just wasn't that into it at the time. I didn't think they were going to be like, baseball cards or something where it would be like, oh, down the road, this could be worth something. I just thought of it as a toy and didn't keep it. And now I'm very upset that I did not keep any of it because I had a lot. But I will say I enjoy it probably just as much now as an adult as I did, because now I have adult money too. So
yeah, that's so funny because as I've talked to more people in the community who are our age, I'm going to be turning 30 this year.
Okay.
And your story is very similar to almost everyone like in our generation. Like,
right.
Had it as a kid, grew out of it in like middle school, high school. And then looking back, it's like, oh my gosh, I had so many. I had the Charizard, I had the Blastoise, and like.
And yeah, I remember going to the store, and I remember when fossil packs first came out, and I was like, that's so cool. I want to buy those. But back then it was like, well, I just got my allowance. Am I going to blow it all on cards, or am I going to, I don't know, buy candy or what? So now that I'm able to, now I'm like, yeah, let's buy all the cards.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I went back to my, because I had quite a few cards as well growing up. And I went back to my parents' house maybe like 18 months ago or so. I don't know exactly when. Try and look for my old cards. And my mom's like, oh yeah, I threw all those away.
Oh no.
Like, no. And I started showing her, some of the prices and like what Pokemon goes for today. She's like, oh my gosh.
I know. My mom's the same. She's like, Yeah, it's really too bad we didn't hang on to any of that. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh. So I'm curious. I know you said that you've been kind of collecting a little bit off and on,
Yeah.
I guess since your high school days, but like what got you back into even just like mildly collecting?
I think just the enjoyment of it. Like I feel like it is the same enjoyment as it was when I was a kid. Like I like finding the packs at the store. I like opening them and seeing the cards. Like I love the anticipation of like, will this be it? Will I finally pull the big card I'm looking for? I just enjoy the whole process of like buying the cards and being in the presence of the cards. And I don't I really I never got into it before for the money. It's nice now that I've learned more about it to know. I mean, there's certain cards that they're not my favorite. So I will, if I find them, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This isn't necessarily a card I would want, but I know that I could sell it and make a little bit of money on it. So that's nice. But I don't necessarily go into it saying, like, I need to find this card because I can sell it for this much money. I just enjoy the collector perspective, I think, of it, of just hunting the cards and enjoying them. And basically we try to make enough money off the cards to fund our collection. So we will, like, if we even with our PSA submissions, we will submit 50 cards, and we will decide on the cards based on like, okay, we know if we get these 10 graded and sell them, it will pay for the rest of them just for the grading for the rest of the cards. So that way we at least can send cards to be graded and we're not out $500 or whatever from grading. We know that will be covered. So we do sell not to profit necessarily, but just to be able to keep ourselves in the game of collecting.
For sure. Because especially something like, well, I mean, I think trading cards in general, like collecting those, that gets pricey after a little while.
It does. And you think, like, especially with booster packs or, the 3-pack blisters, you're like, it's $5 or $12. It's not that much. But then when you buy 10 of them, you're like, oh, that's kind of a lot of money.
Yeah, especially when you don't get the card that you want. It's like,
exactly.
All of a sudden you're spending, $200.
Right. And or when new sets come out, like this year, how there's going to be like 1 million new sets coming out. So we're already like, okay, we have to set aside money for this month and this month and this month. So yeah, I mean, I think we dabbled for long enough that we finally got hooked again. And it actually was kind of funny. I remember the one day we bought one of those packs that is, it's like a third-party pack. And it's just cardboard with plastic over it, and it's like 20 cards. They're not even in a foil wrapper or anything. It's just 20 loose cards, and it's, it'll say like you get so many commons and uncommons and then one holographic card. And Brady picked it up from like Meyer or somewhere and brought it home, and we ended up finding a Charizard in it. And we were bored because we were like, usually these are just full of junk. You'd never think. And I think that was really what triggered us to start collecting or purchasing cards more often. And then it stemmed from there. And suddenly it was a thing we were doing all the time.
That's awesome. So what was that like was that the first time you had bought a Pokemon like product, like since your high school days, or had you bought like another pack or so?
Yeah, it was like I had bought things again here and there. Like if I just came across it while I was out and I felt like it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll just grab that. But I also was out of it for so long that I kind of lost touch with what was going on in the Pokemon world too. So I just kind of felt so out of the loop that I was like, I don't know half these Pokemon. I don't know what sets these are. I don't know if what I have is good or not good or whatever. And so I think that was also a little overwhelming at the time to try and think about catching up on everything. But that's been one of the really nice things about Instagram. I had already learned a lot prior to starting my Instagram, but once I got on Instagram, being in the community, I picked up so much so quickly that it wasn't as overwhelming anymore. And
Yeah.
everyone's just been super nice and friendly, so I don't feel like the moron in the room if I have to ask about something. Like, people are really cool about helping. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I think the Pokemon community in general, I'm sure, there's some interesting people, but in
Yeah.
general, the Pokemon community is actually very supportive.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree. There's always going to be the drama queens, but that I wouldn't let that like tarnish the name of the Pokemon community. I think that pretty much everyone's in it for mainly the same reasons and with good intentions.
for sure. And I guess I'll add for anyone watching or listening to this who is just getting back into Pokemon, because honestly, and just in the last, I was telling my wife this earlier, just in the last, I think, 4 days, I've had people reaching out to me, like old high school buddies, someone in the neighborhood, like, hey, I'm just getting back into Pokemon. What should I do? Like, the community is so like good that you can ask your questions. Like, if you have a question about, what the heck is Rebel Clash, or what is this
Right.
full art thing, and you can ask those questions, and people, you're not going to be considered stupid for asking those questions.
Right. Or they don't like make you feel bad for asking. They just tell you what you need to know and you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because I actually remember, again, maybe a few months ago, you were doing a box break, and I had heard the term several times, but I was like, what is a box break? And you let me know. And so now I know what a box break is. I actually want to do box breaks in the future.
It's fun. It's a good time. And actually, that's another thing we do when we're like, I kind of really want to open a lot of cards, like just have a night to sit and open cards for a while, but I don't want to drop $200 on a booster box. We do a box break, and then that way we charge like just enough basically to get our money back and cover the shipping. But then we still get the fun of opening all the cards. So I do like I was telling my husband, when we do the box breaks and things like that, I have so much fun pulling good cards for other people. Like, it's almost as fun as pulling them for myself. So
it really is.
it's just, I don't know, like, Pokemon's just fun across the board. And I think that's why I've been enjoying it so much, is it's been such a fun hobby to have. Like, we adult enough during the day. It's fun to do the cards for part of the day and have it be just fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I love how you said that your whole family's into it, because that's another thing that I've just been noticing as an adult. It's like, oh my gosh, like my daughter, she loves Pokemon. Like, she has her own little collection going. We open up cards together. She's getting into Star Wars now and like some Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's cool.
And so one of the things I think is awesome now about being an adult, collecting, or even just like, even if you're just selling the cards, like just being in that,
right?
Is like, I didn't realize how much I could share my childhood with my daughter,
right?
And that's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think about it, and I'm like, when I was a kid and Pokemon came out, my parents didn't get like, that wasn't a thing for them. They didn't to them that was just another, childhood. What do I want to say? Like a fad, like something all the kids are into and whatever. And like, I'm not going to waste money on that. But now I'm like, if I was my child right now, I would think my parents were so cool because they buy Pokemon cards all the time.
Seriously, I've had that thought before. Like, oh my gosh, my 8-year-old self would think I'm like the coolest person in the world.
Exactly. Like, it's like 9-year-old me with 30-year-old income. So then 9-year-old me is just like, finally, it's happening.
That's awesome. So I'm curious. I know you said before we started this video, like you brought some of your cards with you.
I did.
So I'm curious, what are your favorite cards that you own?
So I didn't bring the expensive cards just for the sake of I didn't feel comfortable taking them out of the house.
That's understandable.
But I do have to say, probably my favorite currently is our base set Charizard that we just got back, the Shadowless. Just because that one, I purely remember being a kid and feeling like getting that card would be equivalent to winning the lottery. And like, it was just not possible. Like, that doesn't happen to real people. Nobody I know has that. It'll never happen. And now that we have it, I'm like, it's still here. I thought it was a dream or not and it's here. So I do really like that one. We have a few other pretty cool Charizards that I like, but one of my my most favorite card, I finally got a first edition Jungle Eevee, which was the first Eevee card, but it's at PSA right now, so I don't have it with me. But I did bring, last year, I was able to get one of the Eevee on the Ball promos.
Oh, nice.
These were a UK exclusive promo, so I had to pull some strings in order to get one without paying eBay prices for it. And then, funny story, I actually got one. A friend I made through Instagram that lives in the UK sent one to me. And then just a couple weeks after that, I won another one. So I was so excited to have two, but again, I wanted someone else to be able to have the chance to have one in the United States without having to pay international shipping or eBay prices. So I actually gave the second one away, and did a big giveaway for that. So that was fun. That was a really cool giveaway to do. A lot of people were excited about that one. I actually also just started learning about the whole hollow swirl thing. I never really realized that it was an actual thing until recently. So I went to my local card shop the other day and sorted through their little box of promos and found like 12 hollow swirl cards.
Nice.
So I have those in my binder now, and then my COVID Eevee.
I love that card.
I have several of the others that they did. I had COVID back in November, and the guy that makes these cards sent me a set of them because he heard I was sick. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know. It's always hard. Like, I feel like my favorite cards change depending on my Snorlax. My Snorlax VMAX.
Oh, that's a very sweet card.
I could not for the life of me pull, and that is one thing I hate about being an adult and having the convenience of eBay is I feel like it's almost cheating now when you're like, I can't pull this, so I'm just gonna buy one. But I did. I caved and I bought one on eBay because I was so frustrated, and then I finally pulled one just a couple weeks ago out of a dollar store pack. So.
Of course.
Out of this 3-card dollar store pack. Why didn't I think to try that sooner? Yeah, so I don't know. And I go between being that person that's like, I like this card because I know the history behind it and I know who did the art and I know the value of it and whatever. And then I'll flip flop and be like, well, I really like that one because it's cute. So I don't know. I think it all just goes back to like when it comes down to it, I just enjoy the cards. I like
that's awesome. Like honestly, I think that's one of the best parts of collecting, or whatever you collect, whether it's Charizards, whether it's Eevees, whether it's Squirtles, like just whatever you enjoy.
Yeah, like whatever brings you joy and makes you enjoy the cards the most. Like this Pikachu, because sometimes I feel like it's so cliche to like Pikachu, but I feel like you can't be into Pokemon and not like Pikachu. But that was one that I saw on someone else's Instagram, and I was like, that's cute. I need that. And I went on eBay and bought one. Same with the Radiant collections. I did not realize that was a thing to begin with, and then somehow I ended up with a few of the cards from each collection, and then I finally figured out what they were, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and finish these little subsets. and I got a few more cards, and then finally figured out that there was actually 2 separate Radiant collections, and I had been unknowingly collecting random cards from each one. So when I finally went to like organize them, I'm like, why do I have 2 number 12s? Why does this one say one number and this one's another? And so yeah, it's still, still learning here and there.
Honestly, I think most of us are still learning.
Yeah.
Pokemon throws so much stuff out. We're all learning.
They do. And like, there's so many sets that were out for a very brief time or that weren't that popular. And so then all of a sudden these cards will show up and I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was like when I got back into it, I bought a bunch of I won like some huge like lots just off of eBay. But yeah, just going through them, I'm like, I don't know what the card this is. I don't know what this goes to. Like, what that symbol? Like, what? Yeah. Like, I had to do so much research on
Pokemon. When did he come into the group? And
yeah,
or all the different trainers too. Like, I see all the different trainers, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, like getting back into it myself, like thinking like, who is this person? Why does this Pokemon look like a lamp? Like, what is this?
Right. Like, when did they make object Pokemon?
Yeah, or like, I don't know if you experienced this at all, but like I remember pulling, I think it was like an Electabuzz, and thinking it was a really sweet, which I still enjoyed it. I was like, it's an Electabuzz. Wait, it's a common card. Why is Electabuzz common?
Right. I know it, and then you pull other ones that are rare, and you're like, really? I don't think so. Actually, you know what? I think too that I just remembered another thing that helped me want to do it again, start collecting, was when Let's Go Pikachu came out. That was one of the first Pokemon games I played ever since the days of the Game Boy Color. I had a purple Game Boy Color and I played several games on that, but we got Let's Go Pikachu, for our kids. And I actually sat and played it all the way through, and I was like, I forgot how much fun this is.
That's a game I still do. Yeah, I still need to go through the newer games because I bought the OG, like red, blue, yellow.
Yep.
Let's see, I guess that would have been now in 2019. But I bought them, played them through, had so much fun. But yeah, I need to go through like the rest of the games because I only ever played up until Crystal.
Okay.
And so like everything else, like I have no clue. Like Diamond Pearl, like Sword and Shield, I have no clue.
I think the last one I had was Gold. And then Pokemon Pinball. Which I actually still have that game somewhere at home. I don't even have the Game Boy anymore, but I have Pokemon Pinball somewhere at home. I couldn't let it go.
Well, they're coming out with a Pokemon Snap this year for the Switch. And so just like how you were saying, like, Let's Go Pikachu kind of got you a little bit back into it. I'm just totally anticipating even more people coming back because of Snap.
I remember my friends that lived across the street from me, they had a Nintendo 64 and I did not have one. And so I would go to their house after school so that we could play Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64. I was so jealous.
So question. Well, for people just getting back into collecting in 2021, or just people who are collecting already, do you have any thoughts, any advice for people who, like I said, want to be collecting during 2021? It's a big year for Pokemon.
It is.
It's a little tougher to find product in stores.
It's a frustrating time for Pokemon also. I guess my first piece of advice would be to just try to be patient. It's really hard, even with knowing what I know now. Sometimes it's hard not to jump and buy things just because it's there in front of me. But I know if I wait it out even just a little bit, I can probably find it somewhere else for a better price or find a product I'd rather have for that amount of money than just buying what's convenient. And then alongside that, like, spend your money on the product you actually want. Don't just settle for whatever is in front of you. Because even if you spend $50 on 20 cards you don't really care for, but wait and instead wait till you find 5 cards you love, you will get way more value out of what you waited for versus what was convenient. Yeah. And another big piece of advice that I learned to follow this past year is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So with all the issues and resales and price markups and all that, don't just jump at a low number because someone offers it to you. Do your research. Make sure it's legit.
I want to like say amen to that, because literally today I got it. It's still on the table right here. I got this Shiny Star V box.
I saw your post.
And the box was opened, the packs all open, all the shiny cards taken out. Like it was the cheapest price that I could find. And normally I'm really, really good. Like normally I've learned, do your research. I always tell people do your research. But man, I really want to open some Shiny Star V.
Right.
And so I just kind of hopped on it.
It's expensive now.
It is expensive. So definitely do your research, because otherwise you could potentially end up with packs that are open or fake cards.
Someone got me in the fall when it was right when Evolutions was starting to take a jump in price. And this guy had Evolutions booster boxes posted for $100 and it already said sold out. So I was like, oh, bummer, I missed it. Well, then I heard through a friend that he had a couple people back out. So he had a few available. So I jumped on it, and I'm thankful now, but I actually almost bought 3. But then I was like, no, let's just do 1. 1's fine. So I sent him the $100. It was all good. And he had like valid references. The person that referred me to him, I was a trustworthy person. Like there was no red flag really other than the cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had also heard that he got product direct from a vendor. So then legally he was not allowed to mark the price up past a certain amount or whatever. And he's like, I've been waiting on these since the summertime. They're finally just getting them to me. And this is what I bought them for from the vendor. So that's what I'm selling them for. So I was like, all right, that sounds pretty legit too. I can get that. He definitely was not selling Evolutions booster boxes. And this one actually got so big that there is a police investigation open on him for it now. A few of us started a group to talk about it, that we knew each other had bought these boxes or paid for these boxes. Then the more the word got out, more and more people joined this group, and we had figured out that solely from Venmo sales that we knew of, he had already taken over $20,000 from people.
Oh my gosh.
And that was just on Venmo. He had been using Cash App and PayPal too. So, and I almost felt bad because $100 is a lot of money, but I don't miss it. I'm fine without it. Whatever, it sucks to lose, but I'm not, my family's not going to go hungry if I don't get it back. So then I almost felt bad because other people had given this guy like thousands of dollars. And
so did he just like not even send anything?
No.
Oh my gosh.
He strung us along and kept saying like, oh, they'll be here mid-November. Oh, I just got them. Oh, I'm spending this weekend packing them up. I'll send tracking Monday. And then the next thing we knew, it was like Wednesday and none of us had heard from him. So a few of us messaged him asking like, hey, just wondering if you had the tracking, da-da-da. And the next thing we knew, his page was gone. So we were like, yep, we're not getting any Evolutions booster boxes. So I just feel, and he had done this with Evolutions. He did it with Shiny Star. He did it with Hidden Fates. So some people did, like one guy I remember gave him $3,000 for product, and my bank was able to get our money back for us too, even though Venmo wouldn't help. The bank did. So I did get my money back. But yeah, that was something I only had to learn one time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I actually am more on the positive, optimistic side of like I love how Pokemon is exploding right now. But definitely, if you're just getting back into Pokemon, I mean, like Jess said, like if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah,
Because
especially
unfortunately,
because people are so in the money making mentality on it right now that nobody is going to sell anything for less than retail.
mhm,
And you're lucky if you get retail.
yeah. So definitely, like if it's too good to be true, probably skip it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, I don't know if you see it. I see it like all the time now. I'll get like ads on Facebook or ads wherever of like a new hobby shop, and it's
Right.
they like literally open up like the day before, and they have
Right.
booster boxes for $60, and
Right. Well, and that's why I don't know if you've seen, but I've been like kind of promoting that smoke and mirrors hobby
I've seen them. Yeah,
shop. And that one, they're really cool guys. They have a cute little shop. And they're really like they're efficient. They ship super fast. But that was another one where at first I was like, I don't know if I want to promote you when I don't know you. And I don't, but thankfully it only took maybe a day and I had a handful of people message me and say like, hey, I have shopped here before, or I'm local to that area, so I've seen it before. And I'm like, okay, good. At least I know they're real people. I know it's a real shop.
yeah. That's also
So
why
yeah.
I've been lately. If I've had a good experience, like several good experiences with like a small shop,
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it up on my IG story. I'll let people know like,
Yep.
hey, this is a legitimate shop. Like they might be small, they may have started last year, but like I've gotten the product from them. I've gotten good pulls. They have good
Yep.
service. Like I'm trying to let people know when I come across a
Yeah, and
like
that's with
legitimately
them, like their
sellers.
prices are so low too that I know people see it and get kind of leery of buying it. But I'm like, no, they've sent me things and I've ordered things and I always get what I pay for. Everything's like nothing's been tampered with or whatever. It's all like I feel like they really are just genuinely in it for the collectors and for the sake of making sure everyone is able to get cards at a normal price.
And that's awesome. And I
Yeah.
do want to go back to one thing that you said because you did talk
Okay.
about patience,
Oh,
and I really honestly that is a huge tip because if you were to go on, let's say eBay right
mm-hmm.
now and try to pre-order, let's say Shining Fates, you're probably going to be paying $100, $90 for an
Oh yeah.
ETB, maybe like $50 for that Pikachu box.
Yep.
When odds are, like, I mean, obviously that's going to be a very popular set. Don't get me wrong, but odds are there's going to be even more product available in 6 months.
Yes. And it's not like it's going to be, one wave of printing and it's done. They haven't set a stop point for it yet. So it's like Vivid Voltage, and everyone lost their mind when Vivid Voltage was coming out, and that was another thing where I saw tons of people get scammed on pre-orders for Vivid Voltage. But it's still in print. They're still putting new product out every day. So even I know everyone, especially when it's new, everyone wants the new stuff the day it comes out or the week it comes out or whatever. But if you are not able to safely acquire a pre-order or get lucky and find it in a store on release day, just give it a week or two or even a month and save your money. And then before you know it, you will be able to just jump on Smoke and Mirrors and order it from them or whatever. So it does stink, to have to wait. No one wants to wait, but it's usually the smarter thing to do aside from if you had to choose between that and spending a ridiculous amount over retail or ordering from a questionable person. Just wait.
Yeah, definitely be patient.
Yes.
Because I mean, I know a lot of people it was very similar when Champions Path came out.
Yeah.
And I can still find Champions Path. I mean, obviously there were times I haven't been able to find it, but you can find Champions Path regularly.
So the other day, our Walmart has been consistently cleaned out. But the other day we happened to be out that way, and I was like, I'm just going to stop in. Maybe I'll get lucky. Walk over, and all the cards are gone. Everything's bare, other than there was 6 Hatterene Champions Path boxes. And these people had bought even the theme decks before the Hatterene boxes. And then I'm standing there, like, staring at the shelf and hoping that more cards will just magically appear. And a guy walks over with his cart and takes a Hatterene box out and puts it back on the shelf and leaves. So I'm like, even the people that have it in their hands decide it's not worth it and put it back.
That's fun. It's funny too, because now I honestly don't have any hate for anyone. Like, I try not having any hate for anyone.
Right.
And so even when people are like scalping and buying out stores, like, okay, you do you, whatever. Like,
Right.
you're not gonna. I'm gonna live my life.
Right.
But it's so funny how I think, there are so many people getting into Pokemon just for the sake of flipping it.
Yep.
But they have no idea what they're actually getting.
Oh, right.
Because a similar experience happened to me. I think it might have been like 3 months ago. I go into Walmart, cleaned out. I'm like, okay, I'll go back to the other section where they have cards, cleaned out, except for this one shelf that has 4 Hidden Fates boxes. I'm like,
gosh.
Like, why is this still here? Like, everything else is
Right.
gone. And so I'm
Like,
like,
who didn't want that?
I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go home and.
Right.
Well, yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, even with Hidden Fates, you just might walk into stores and find some.
Yeah, and that I've had similar thing, or you find it like someone shoved it behind the thing next to it or something, and part of me is like, someone probably hid this hoping they'd come back and get it later, but
Yeah.
mine now. Or I see with the people that do it with the intention of flipping, and it's just kind of funny when you realize they really don't know what they're doing, because I've seen several posts now of people that clearly went and bought out wherever they got it from, Champions Path, everything, and now they can't get rid of it. And I will see their posts, and they just have like stacks from table to ceiling of double boxes and whatever, pin boxes, and they're just like, retail price or 2 for however many, help me get rid of this. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you'll think twice next time, huh?
Yeah, I've actually seen the same thing with people with I think it was the Jirachi GX box from Walmart.
When they were on that Black Friday sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, again, like, whether you want to sell cards or whether you want to collect them, like, do your research, like, because I not that I thought that box was terrible or anything, but I saw it and I'm like, oh, it's a decent box. I probably won't get it.
Right.
And so when I saw, like, on TikTok and other places, like, people buying out boxes and like, I'm going to make so much money, I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah, that was one where I was like, I'm not going to put the effort in to fight people at the store to get one. But a friend of mine, he got like 5, and he was like, I'll just send you one if you just pay the price of the box and then pay for the shipping. And I was like, all right, that's fair. I'll pay $25 for this box, because it still had enough packs in it too that it was worth, like, if you did the per pack price, it was still worth it. But yeah, I would not have gone out of my way to stock up on.
Yeah.
If these people knew what they were doing, if they were stuck with that many, they would just open the box and take the packs out and try to sell the packs, or open the cards and sell the good cards that they find. And like, the box itself is not that appealing.
Yeah, like, honestly, I just feel kind of bad, like, just seeing, like, on Facebook Marketplace, the price that someone's selling it at just keeps going lower and lower and lower. Like,
same with the Small But Mighty box. I think people kind of got excited when it came out because it was cute and had the little extra, like, whatever keychain or something in it, but it was $50 and it wasn't that good of packs in there. And so I was tempted a couple times when I finally found them out in the wild. And then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I just don't think this is even worth $50. So
we did something similar. Like, actually, one of our YouTube videos, sometimes we go around seeing what we can find in stores. And we had grabbed it initially. And then, like, in the video, you see it cuts back to we're in the car. I'm like, yeah, I left that behind. Like,
right. Yeah, I put it back. Couldn't do it. One thing I did notice that I feel like people I don't see them very often either, but I think maybe people don't realize is there's a box, and now I can't, it's like a power box, and I find them at Rite Aid all the time, and it looks like it would just be like a smaller theme deck box, but it's not, and it's like full of Ancient Origins packs. But they will sit there, and I see them every time I go into Rite Aid, and no one ever buys them. And so I finally bought one yesterday, and I opened it up, and I was like, I forgot this was what was in here, and they've just been sitting in there this whole time while there's been like no cards at any store. And so now I'm like, go to Rite Aid. Everyone go check
I need a Rite Aid
Aid
in my area. All right. Well, I know you got a class to go to, not too distant future. So, do you want to shift subjects real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I know you're at the gym right now.
I am at the gym right now. Yep.
So I'm curious. I know you talk a lot about Pokemon, on your Instagram page, but you also have all you like working out, or you just worked out, and so like I'm curious, why is fitness such so important to you?
So I've always been athletic ever since I was a kid. And then just the older I got, the more, I guess, kind of passionate I got about it. And then I also worked in the medical field for about 8 years. And that really opened my eyes up to how important exercise is and how beneficial it is, even if it's very, like it doesn't have to be intense. Just even the smallest amount of exercise can be super helpful for people, but also how many people don't do it, like at all, ever, and how awful their health is. So a long time ago, before I had kids, I worked at a gym. It was also a Sungni. It's the original one it's the next town over. And I also did martial arts there. And then I had kids, and I was still exercising, just not at the gym. And then a few years ago, right after my son was born, I quit my job and I was staying home, but I still just kind of wanted something to do. So I went back to Sungni and worked the desk for a while. And then I started teaching again, and got really, like, it was like kind of like Pokemon, like starting all over again. And it was just new and exciting and fun. And I was like, I really just wish that I could do this all the time. And then fast forward a year or two after that, and we decided to move. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to pay for a gym membership now. I don't want to have to pay for a gym membership. And I wasn't even being serious, but I just was like, we should just take the gym with us and open our own. And my husband was like, they don't really have many gyms where we're going. That might not actually be a bad idea. And the next thing I knew, we had a gym. So,
so you guys own your own gym?
Yes, we own this gym.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So this is our business baby, which actually, with Pokemon too, it really helps having the business knowledge to tie in with the Pokemon knowledge when it comes to purchasing and selling and things like that. So it's been interesting to see how the two kind of complement each other in ways that you wouldn't expect it to. But yeah, we opened the gym. We've been open 2.5 years. We just opened a cycling studio next door. But yeah, this is when I'm not doing Pokemon stuff. I'm usually doing gym stuff.
Well, see, I didn't realize you guys owned your gym. I might have to have you back on the show just to talk about business stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
So, question then, because okay. I know with we're in a new year. It's now 2021. So many people, at the start of a new year, they normally want to get into better health, get into better shape, and then it might start. I know that there's a saying that gyms are most crowded in January.
Yep.
And then it starts trickling off.
Yep, that's usually how it goes.
So then, do you any advice, any tips that you have for someone who wants to get in better shape? They want to get fit, but I guess, to stay motivated to keep going?
I think the biggest thing is to just start. And you really have to take health and fitness as baby steps instead of everyone goes into it like, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And then they get 2 weeks in and they're like, well, I haven't lost 20 pounds. I don't want to do this anymore. And I always tell our members, you have to start small, and celebrate every little victory, every little win. And that's what will really help you stay motivated to continue until you can attain the bigger goal. But also don't look at it as like the end. There shouldn't be an end. It should just slowly become part of your lifestyle. Because that's the other thing that happens is what we do here is called a body challenge, and it's a 6-week fat loss competition. But it's not, I hate calling it that, but that's what it is. Basically, people set a goal for themselves, and if they hit their goal within the 6 weeks, they win all their money back that they paid to enter the challenge. So what a lot of people do is they enter and they work their butts off and make all these changes, and they hit their goal and they're all happy and excited. And then as soon as it's over, they go back to what they were doing before. And I'm like, you're missing the point. What you were doing before didn't help you lose 15 pounds. It helped you gain 30 pounds. And now you're going to be upset again. So that's really what we push here, is just baby steps and celebrate the little victories, and try to slowly integrate it into part of your lifestyle. Don't just make it a temporary. There's no quick temporary fix. It's either you're doing it or you're not.
I love that. So it has to be part of, like you said, it has to be part of your life. It can't just be a 2-week thing.
And like I said before too, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go to the gym and like bench 500 pounds or run 10 miles or, work out for 2 hours a day every day. Even if it's just you drink more water and go for a walk in the evening, or get up and do 20 minutes of yoga in the morning. Like, people don't realize how big of a change those little things can make.
Exactly. Hey, I'm going to ask you one last question, then we're going to go into some quick rapid fire questions, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned at the beginning, you've been growing fairly quickly on Instagram. So yes. Any thoughts as to like why you're growing so fast? Are you intentionally doing something, or is it just like...
I don't know. I really don't know. And I believe it, but I hate to admit it. I think part of it is just because I'm a girl. There's many more men than women in the community, or at least more men that have a voice about it, I guess. From a lot of the girls, I have seen a lot of women that have very good content and very good opinions, and they're very serious collectors, but then a lot of girls that are also clearly just have other intentions for their pages. So I feel like that's part of the draw, but I feel like the family thing is a big thing too. I have a lot of people that say how much they love like seeing our kids do the cards with us, and they think it's super cool that we do it all as a family. And then my wall, my slab wall, that seems to draw a lot of attention too. So I think it's just a combination of things. I don't have like a set thing I do to where I can say like, oh, I did that, so I know I'll get a bunch of followers. Like I also think it's good to be very genuine and accessible. Like I know personally when I follow people, it's because I feel like I could, like with you, I could sit down and have a chat with them and it wouldn't be weird or it wouldn't be uncomfortable. Like we could just chat like friends, or they wouldn't be like, I have 10,000 followers, don't talk to me. Like, it's just nice to be open with people and actually, show that you care to get to know people. You're not just there to be like, well, I have all these followers and I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, and honestly, I will say that in my opinion, that has been, yeah, there might be a part of it because you're a girl, because you have a nice collection, but also I have noticed that you are very genuine.
Thank you.
you like that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show. Like I consider you someone that like I'm like, yeah, let's talk. Like let's talk Pokemon, let's talk perspective, let's talk health. Like I feel like you're a very genuine person. You actually care about people.
Thank you.
And I think that's going to help, whatever you want to do with it, whether it's just,
Right.
just a habit or maybe it becomes something more down the road. But I think that's going to help you continue to grow on Instagram and anywhere else you might be putting your efforts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, and I think, Shiny Ash Ketchum, Michael, he's actually become like one of my best friends right now. And we met on Instagram because of Pokemon. And so that's been another thing too, to where I'm like, if you just, I know some people too don't want to be like super personal on Instagram, and that's fine. But if you just open up and talk to people a little bit, you never know who you're going to meet or, what resources you might have or what relationships you might develop just because you answered a message or commented on someone's post.
Exactly. Like it's actually funny because I almost consider some of the people who are starting to become some of my best friends, I think I've met through like Twitter, Instagram.
Right.
Like 90% of them are in the Pokemon community.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like it's just nice to have that foundation too. Like, you both have shared the same interest of whatever it is you're collecting. And then that way you always have something to talk about.
For sure. All right. I'm going to do some rapid fire questions. Then
Okay.
I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite Pokemon set, both old school and modern?
Old school, I have to say Jungle, modern, Hidden Fates.
Very nice. Favorite kind of music?
I like all music. Especially being a cycling instructor, I have to like all music basically, but I will listen to whatever's playing.
Awesome. Favorite kind of dessert?
Oh, brownies.
Good choice. So what's one card that you hope to have in your collection one day?
Oh, there's so many. I'm trying to think of any that I've oh my gosh, I need a Shining Ho-Oh so bad, especially if it's still sealed. I want it so bad. I think right now that's the main one. And that's the other thing too. Like, it's not, I could go buy one for $50, but for whatever reason, I just won't do it, but I want it. I don't know.
Yeah. I got one sealed. You want it?
Yes.
Yeah. DM me your address after.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm being 100% serious.
You're the best.
See, the Pokemon community is the best community.
Oh my gosh. You're going to make me cry.
Okay, I guess as a little thank you for being on the show and just being an awesome person.
That's a big thank you.
I mean, I got other ones, so I got plenty. I'll send it. It's still sealed.
Well, thank you. All right, we'll talk about it.
Okay. So, last two questions. Okay. If I gave you $100 to buy a Pokemon product, what are you buying?
I would buy. Do I have access to like anything?
Anything.
I would buy either Evolutions, Shining Fate, or Shining Legends, Hidden Fates, or Legendary Heartbeat.
Oh my gosh!
I probably wouldn't be able to get a lot with $100, but I would buy what I could with $100.
Legendary Heartbeat. Oh,
those cards are just on another level.
Okay, last question is, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy, honestly, is seeing other people be happy. I'm very much I feed off other people's energy. And I genuinely enjoy seeing other people be happy. So if I can, I don't know, I kind of get a lot of crap sometimes from my friends for like the things I give away, or I don't know, I guess being cheap about selling things for, I don't know, whatever. But I just genuinely enjoy knowing that I'm doing a thing to make someone else happy. And working out makes me happy too.
That's awesome. I think that's why I like you so much, because you like making people happy. I like me making people happy.
Oh, thank you.
That's you again. You are just awesome.
Thank you. So are you. This is fun.
This was fun. All right. So guys, go follow Eeveegirl98 on Instagram. Are you anywhere else? Are you on TikTok, Twitter, anything?
I mean, I have a TikTok, but I don't use it. So just
Okay, well
Instagram
then
right now.
on Instagram, go follow her. She is awesome person to go
Thank you.
follow.
Thank you. This was fun.
And again, we'll have to do this again.
Oh, yes, definitely.